Hey guys, it's Zach back with another review, this time of the Epomaker G84 HE. Epomaker is a keyboard company that I find to be highly underrated, and they're honestly one of my favorites. I think the type of keyboard they tend to make just plays into exactly what I want to feel. I want a nice gasket mount with a little bit of give, and I want a creamy type feel, and that is what Epomaker delivers, and they continue to refine that, and I think it has potentially peaked here in their G84 HE. So let's jump into some pricing and specs real quick. As you can see here, retails for $85 on their site. It has only the color you see here, this white blue gradient, and the Epomaker Dusk Rise magnetic switches. It is about $75 on Amazon right now. The switches, those Dusk Rise from Epomaker, have an initial force of 30 GF, 55 to bottom out, travel on the shorter side at 3.3 millimeters, and obviously adjustable trigger travel. The features you'd expect: snap key, SOCD, it's going to have 8K polling, very high scan rate. They do have their custom driver now, an improvement from the desktop software. The keyboard is tri-mode. Get a quick look at the layers here, including the flex cut PC plate, bottom silicone, and the pour-on sandwich foam. And if you're curious, initial magnetic flux 95 plus or minus 15, and the bottom out 580 plus or minus 50. Back here on the keyboard itself, let's take a look aesthetically. I do like the sort of blue, white, gray gradient. I don't mind the black shell in the case that we have some kind of interesting color here on the keycaps. One slight gripe I have is it's a little bit hard to see the black typeface on the bottom row of keys because of how dark they are, but obviously in use and with the backlight on, that's not an issue at all. Build quality wise, there is a bit of flex back and forth here. Nothing that bothered me in use, and of course a confirmation here that we have Windows and Mac mode and Bluetooth and 2.4 wireless. Coming to the back here, nice little metal informational plate, your rubberized feet, and then 2 levels of extra support feet should you want to use them, and then the wireless dongle is stored here under the left foot. Keycaps here are double shot PBT. We'll pop one of those off now, as I'm relieved to have a voice still, as I did the Mousecast podcast this morning, and a cup of tea saved me from having zero voice at all. Look here at the keycap itself. Again, shine through double shot PBT, and as per usual, a slight texturing here, but nothing crazy and not totally smooth on the top of the keycap. Switches here are hot swappable for magnetic. Very interesting aesthetically here, almost like an Iron Man switch. That yellow stem in the center, relatively stable, not the most stable I've ever seen, but not a crazy amount of wobble. We'll display here on the keycap in a second. That clear top, red bottom, and the switch itself a little bit on the quieter side by my estimation. Looking at the stem wobble on the keycaps here, as you can see, pretty stable, not the most stable, but no crazy wobble present. And then popping off the spacebar here, nicely lubed stabilizers here with a very bright blue aesthetic. Couple little strips of foam here for that dampening on the spacebar. Pretty standard but nice setup here from Epomaker. As far as the form factor goes, we have a 75% layout here with 84 keys. This is about my preferred size. I like a little bit of space here to the arrow keys in the bottom right corner. Obviously, no knob on this keyboard. Notable for some, not a big issue for me, as I'm currently rocking that Amplifigame Stream Deck, as well as a separate keypad on the side that also has a knob, so I have plenty of ways to easily change sound sources as well as volume. And now let's check on the weight, which annoyingly enough, I need a flat surface for, so no mouse pads. We've got the weight on this thing coming in at 2 pounds, 2.5 ounces, which translates to a healthy 978 grams. And now to sabotage my mic setup and do a sound test. Back from the sound test, somehow still using this crappy Attack Shark cable. Let's check out that lighting. And as you can see here, nice shine through there on the keycaps. I do seemingly need to recalibrate that switch under the H key, as that's not lighting up until I do so. But the RGB on this with the shine through is actually pretty bright. A decent amount of sort of ambiance as well as shine through the keycaps, and also this light here on the side underneath the Epomaker plate. Overall, definitely on the brighter side of RGBs that I've had recently, but not something that's obnoxious and will blind you like the iRock MG75 Clear Red Edition. So here we have their Epomaker driver review for their new desktop software. Right here from the homepage, you can see we have the magnetic switch settings, and we're going to ignore this little AI button. You know what? Let's see what we got. They have a bunch of information in here. I'm not going to play with it. We appear to link out to some websites, an odd feature I'm not really interested in trying. And also, yes, I'm an idiot, and the H key didn't need recalibration. The Epomaker text is just upside down on these north-facing RGBs. I just flipped the switch. We're all good. Anyway, continuing with the software, if you select a key, for example, I rock usually 1.2 millimeters for my standard typing keys. It has all the rapid trigger settings you would want. So for example, I can set WASD here to full continuous rapid trigger all the way down to 0.01. And you know what? We can set it for the entire board. And then as far as advanced key settings, obviously we have snap key, which I have applied to A and D here from my testing. And then under settings, you can change the polling rate. Obviously I ran it the entire time on 8,000 hertz. There's other standard software things such as the function layer settings, macro editing, light settings, which I have the brightness all the way up, speed on half, and my classic flower wave sort of lighting scheme. You can share some stuff with the community, and there's also a local config. And then then setting that minimum actuation to 0.1. It's a case where sort of these stock settings are dialed in perfectly. If I'm on this lowest actuation and minimum rapid trigger, I can type accurately. I do see the switch actuating the second I get a single tiny bit of movement on the switch. This is not one where it's like overtuned. You breathe in the keycap and it actuates. It's a nice safe level where if you have rapid trigger turned on, even continuous on a lot of the keys, you can still type normally and you won't bump any accidental actuations, but it will feel extremely responsive in game, which was my experience with this keyboard. Overall, for the software, definite upgrade from their old software. This is much more usable, sort of like a reskinned, more user-friendly version of it, and I'm kind of all here for it. Is it the best software in the world? No, but it is plenty serviceable, and I'm happy with that. So as far as the performance on this keyboard and my overall impressions on my time using this, it was very good. It's one of my favorite recent keyboards. Honestly, if you remember my Cypher 81 review, I said I wish this was Hall effect. It's got such a nice creamy gasket mount and it feels amazing to use. Still my daily driver for work. This is basically the Hall effect version of that without a knob for what it's worth, and I freaking love this keyboard. This is definitely a keyboard I could main, and it's one I will continue to keep in my rotation as I do enjoy the aesthetic, and just that creamy, smooth typing feel is so satisfying. But on that note, I was also able to perform up to my top level of performance, whatever that may be. Pretty good, not amazing, not terrible these days. As I said toward the beginning of the video, Epomaker is, in my opinion, a little bit overhated on, I guess, on Reddit, and generally, I've not had any issues with their keyboards. Potentially, maybe it's a longevity issue, but again, I've been using the Cypher 81 for work daily for a long time now, 6+ months, I want to say. Not a single issue on that board. Obviously, that's not Hall effect, and I'll put some more time on this and see how it performs over time, but out of the box, very satisfied with Epomaker. It sort of caters exactly to what I want, and that makes me pretty darn happy. Shout out to Epomaker for setting out this unit for review, but of course, my thoughts and opinions are my own, and with that, we will call it a video. Please subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. You can follow me on X at DasherZach as my voice starts to die. Check out the Mousecast podcast and my peripheral Discord server. We just had an episode with JQ this morning. It went almost 5 hours. It was awesome. Check it out. And with that, we'll see ya.